Welcome to Beyond Just Money. My name is Samta and today we will be talking about what Canada's federal budget had on offer with the head of content of Kalkine Media, Nidhi Sinha, who is our guest speaker. Welcome, Nidhi.
Thank you, Samta.
Well, as we know that the Canadian Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland presented the federal budget on April 19th. Can you share the main highlights of the same with our listeners?
Yeah, Samta, Finance Minister Freeland, presented the budget earlier this week, where she unveiled plans for increased public investment at a time when it is direly needed. Many may be wondering how these investments would translate into a better tomorrow for Canada's businesses and households. The federal budget 2021 is more or less based on the Keynesian approach, which calls for increased fiscal expenditure to initiate economic revival during recessionary phases. Now, Samta, how do you boost consumption in an economy? One way to do that is by putting more money in the hands of consumers. Canada's latest budget seeks to do exactly this. It has hiked the minimum wage mark to 15 Canadian dollars per hour for workers employed in industries that fall under federal regulation. There's more to this. Although the budget announcement is for some 26,000 Canadians that fall under this category, the impact will be industry-wide. Employers will feel the pressure to pay deserving employees more, given that the minimum wage that many of them can draw is now 15 Canadian dollars per hour. Amid the pandemic crisis, this can lead to some companies taking a share from the pay of higher rank employees to, distribute among workers at the bottom of the pyramid, Samta. The budget also extended emergency cash support to create continuous demand. To support its big spending budget, the Justin Trudeau government will need more revenue. To support its big spending budget, the Justin Trudeau government will need more revenue. And one way to do that is increasing taxes. Therefore, Budget 2021 has targeted sin and luxury goods to fill the federal coffers. Excise on tobacco is set to increase by 4 Canadian dollars under the latest budget proposals. Also, levy on vaping will be hiked, Samta.
Also, which sectors and businesses do you feel did the budget seek to support?
Budget 2021 is designed to support businesses in the most affected sectors such as tourism and arts and culture through this crisis to take them towards a significant recovery. It also plans to accelerate investments towards the digital transformation of small and mid-sized businesses. Moreover, Budget 2021 aims to invest in Canada's biomanufacturing and life sciences sector to enhance the domestic manufacturing capacity of vaccine and raise the national standards for mental health services. It also focuses on building countrywide early learning and childcare system. Meanwhile, there is also a plan for green recovery by creating a net zero economy through investments in world-leading technology. This budget will bring better financial security for seniors aged 75 or older. Also, the employment insurance benefits have been enhanced from 15 to 26 weeks. Further, it emphasizes supporting women and other underrepresented sections and entrepreneurs through initiatives such as the Black Entrepreneurship Program and the Women Entrepreneurship Strategy. So, all in all, Federal Budget 2021 is a step forward in the right direction.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. But the budget had a proposal to amend Canada Elections Act. Could you elaborate on that?
Let us first understand what is Canada Elections Act. The Canada Elections Act regulates the election of Canada's members of parliament. For it, the Trudeau government has proposed amendments that will classify making or publishing false statements with respect to any candidate who's contesting the polls an offence. While proposing such amendments is not a typical occurrence during a budgetary announcement, a more pressing question is whether the government will use the budget to bring the actual change in the act or pass a separate amendment.
Well, if we see, Freeland had also proposed changes to the Immigration and Refugee Protection Act, or the IRPA as we say in our budgetary document. What about that?
Canada's Immigration and Refugee Protection Act is the main federal legislation which regulates immigration to the country. The Liberal government has proposed that the law be amended to give more powers to the country's immigration minister. In the wake of the country's changing labour market needs, the proposal seeks to give the federal immigration minister the power to select suitable people from the pool of applicants who are seeking permanent residency in Canada via the Express Entry program.
Were there more such non-budgetary announcements in this budget?
Yes, Samta, the budget also talked about amending provisions related to how charities function in the country. At the moment, the Minister of National Revenue has the power to revoke the registration of any charity in certain circumstances, such as when any ineligible individual, for instance, a member of any terrorist entity, is added as a board member or to the charity's management. The Liberal government also proposed changes to the Judges Act, seeking the power to freeze pension entitlements of a judge in a scenario when the Canadian Judicial Council has recommended the said judge's removal from office. The amendments cited above have no direct financial aspect and are far from the much debated budgetary issues, such as the government's big spending plans. It will be interesting to find out in the coming days why these issues were raised in the budgetary announcement this year. To see how the opposition and different pressure groups react to this development may be even more noteworthy.
Well, thank you so much, Nidhi, for sharing information with our listeners on the Canadian Budget 2021.
Thank you, Samta.
And to our listeners who want to listen to this podcast again, please log on to our website, that is kalkinemedia.com, or you could also subscribe to our YouTube channel. Do not forget to hit that bell icon for the latest notifications on the new videos and the podcast. Until we see you next with yet another insightful episode of Beyond Just Money, this is me, Samta, saying goodbye and stay upright and invest wise with Kalkine, your best guide.